You've been giving to your church, giving to your family, giving to people who needed someone to show up. And you showed up every day. And now you're sitting here and there's almost nothing left. You're not angry at God. You're not walking away from God. But something in you is breaking. And you're starting to wonder if God sees any of it. This video is for the Christian who is wrung out from serving. Maybe even considering walking away, should we dare to talk about that, and needs to know there's a promise for this exact moment. We've all heard the version of this that doesn't help. Just serve more joyfully. Or burnout means you weren't relying on God enough. Well, here's a good one. Real faith doesn't run dry. That's not what we're going to do here. This is not a lecture about how you should have managed your energy better. And it's not a guilt trip because you feel empty. We're not going to add one more weight to someone who is already carrying too much weight. That's not Christ-like. This is about what God actually says to the servant who's breaking. Now, here's the one thing I want you to hold from this video. God does not ask you to serve from emptiness. He promises to be your supply. That's not a motivational phrase. It's actually a promise from Isaiah. And it's older and stronger than any exhaustion you could have. Now, I know what it feels like when serving the church almost costs you everything. I once served as Congregational President, and during one of the hardest times our church had ever had experienced, we had a pastor, he had real problems. Those problems, they caused real damage to real people. And the weight of addressing it, working through it, trying to hold everything together, it fell on my shoulders. And the pressure, I got to be honest with you, was relentless. The stress was the kind that follows you to bed and meets you the moment your eyes open up the next morning. And I'll be honest with you about something else. It almost drove me away from the church entirely. There were moments where it could have driven me away from Christ completely. That's the truth. Now, I wasn't lazy and I wasn't faithless. I was a servant who had been emptied out. I didn't know if there was going to be anything left to me. Now, if that's where you are, or if there's something else driving a wedge between you and Christ, stay with me here. Stay with me right now. Because what Isaiah says next is for you. Let's turn to Isaiah 58. Now, this is one of the most direct passages in the entire Old Testament about what God and how he honors service and what it actually looks like and what God promises in return. Let's start with verse 6. God speaks through the prophet and defines the kind of service he calls his people to. He's not talking about ritual. He's not talking about religious performance. In plain language, Isaiah 58, 6 and 7 reads, "Isn't this the fast that I have chosen to break the chains of the wickedness, to untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free, and to tear off every yoke? Isn't it to share your bread with the hungry, to bring the poor and the homeless into your home, to clothe the naked when you see it, and to not turn away from your own flesh and blood?" That's costly service, isn't it? That's the kind that drains you. This is not comfortable Christianity we're diving in. This is body and soul giving Christianity. This is showing up for people who got absolutely nothing to give you back. And then verse 11, this is his promise. The Lord will always guide you. He will satisfy you in the sun-scorched land and strengthen your frame. He will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail. Isaiah 58:11. Don't miss what God is saying here. He is not saying serve harder and you'll feel better. What he is saying is when you pour yourself out, I become your supply. The scorched place, that's real. God doesn't deny that. Serving people, serving the church, absorbing damage on behalf of others, that leaves you in a dry place. Isaiah named it plainly a sun-scorched land. But the promise is that God guides you there. He satisfies you there. He strengthens your frame there, and he makes you a spring that doesn't run dry. Not because of your endurance, because of his. What this passage is not saying, it's not saying that exhaustion means failure. It's not saying you served wrong. It's saying that the place of depletion is exactly where God shows up as the restorer. And this matters when you served your church through something painful and walked away wondering if it was worth it. Been there. Maybe you have too. It matters when you've given everything to people who didn't notice, or worse, people after you helped them, they turned on you. Been there too. And it matters when you show up for someone week after week and you're running on the fumes. And Sunday morning feels like one more thing to survive instead of something that feeds you. Can you relate? A lot of us respond by going quiet. We pull back from serving. We stop showing up. Or we keep showing up with nothing left and pretend we're fine. Because that's what faithful Christians are supposed to do, right? We've been taught that. But Isaiah doesn't tell you to pretend. And he doesn't tell you to quit. He points you to God, who meets you in the sun-scorched place and becomes your supplier, your restorer. Now, the question isn't whether you're empty. The question is whether you'll let God be the one who's going to fill you back up. Here's a lie that service fatigue will tell you. If your faith were stronger, you wouldn't be this tired. If you were really trusting God, you'd still have something left. The fact that you're empty means something is wrong with you. Guess what? That is not what Scripture says. No. Isaiah doesn't describe the servant who ran dry as faithless. He describes them as someone who gave themselves to others at real cost. And he doesn't shame them. He actually gives them a promise. You don't have to manufacture strength that you don't have. No, you don't. You don't have to perform endurance for people around you. No, you don't. And you are allowed to be in the sun-scorched place and bring the honesty and everything that it has done to you and everything you feel directly to God. Guess what? That's not failure. That is where he wants to meet you. Now, don't try to rebuild your whole sense of calling tonight. Just take one step. Tonight, pray just one honest sentence. Not a polished prayer and certainly not a performance. Something like, Lord, I emptied out. I don't know if I've got anything left. Help me be my supply. And that's it. That's enough. It's more than enough. You don't have to have it figured out. You don't have to feel strong to bring an honest prayer to God, who promises to guide you in the sun-scorched places, wants to meet you right there, right where you are now. Pray it tonight. One sentence, tell him the truth. Now, if you don't know how to begin again after problem times like these, I got you. I made a 7-minute audio called The First Step Back. Listen, it's not a lecture. It's a short, honest walk back towards God for that person who's feeling like they're wrung out and in need of help. Don't try to fix everything tonight. Take one small step back towards him. Drop 7 in the comments. I'll get that to you. Now, God doesn't forget the servants who poured themselves out. No, he finds them in that sun-scorched place, and he makes them a spring that doesn't run dry. Keep walking, even when you're tired. Now, if you want to keep learning how to walk with him through these hard seasons, I got you. Got another video right here. Want to watch it with you? Let's go watch it now. I will see you over there.